Okay, there we go. There we go. I think we're good. Are we good? We're good. Woo! How's everyone doing today? Short weeks? Oh yeah, Monday was a holiday. Forgot Monday was a holiday. This throws everything off. Throws me off whenever there's a short week. I had to reset something up here. I think we've got the computer sorted out. I think we've gotten the computer instability issues sorted out finally. 1 second here. Let me do the alerts at everyone. Hey, it's Friday. Let's print. Hopefully. Checklist before first on the GLOOP V2. Join the fun. Copy. Send at everyone. There we go. And then we move this over here. Move that over here. Andrew Rogers, $10 for the memory fund. Well, I don't really. I think we're okay. I'll go through it all in a second here. Let me just do the notifications. Quote. Boom. Delete that. Boom. Boom. Control A. Post. Doing all the notifications. Post. There we go. Okay. So what's been the issue? What has been the issue? If you've noticed for the past couple streams out here in the garage, we've had some stability issues. And we tried a few different things. Originally, we thought it was a RAM, or correction, a hard drive issue. Because, you know, the SSD was given it was like being weird installing software or something. I can't remember what the original issue was, but we kind of determined it was the SSD. So I swapped out, put a new SSD in here, and everything was working good. And then like a week or two ago, we had the motherboard started throwing a VGA error. Like the computer was just being unstable. I tried to reboot it, was given a VGA error, and it wouldn't boot up. So I'm like, oh shoot, is the video card fried? Because it's got a 1070 in here, which is an older video card. So I tried a different video card, that didn't seem to work. So I took the computer apart and I put it back together, and it worked. So I'm like, okay, freaking cosmic rays or something. And then last stream, it just started going down. It just started going down. Just started going down. Like we crashed like 5 times, blue screen, whatever. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? So for those that know RAM, most regular sized motherboards, you dual channel nowadays, you got 4 sticks of RAM, and then you got 2 dual channels. So when you install your RAM, you're supposed to put it in like either the A slots or the B slots, right? Because it's AB, okay? So I had 4 sticks of RAM in here because this was my old computer that used to be in my computer room. And so I built it in like 2019 because it has a Ryzen 3700X in it, right? So around 2019 is when I built it. So I bought it. When I built it, I bought 2 sticks of RAM, 2 8-gig sticks, because 16 gigs was fine at the time. And then later on, like 2 years later, I bought another 2 gigs of RAM, or another 2 sticks of RAM, so 32. So I had 2 sticks of new and 2 sticks of older RAM, but they were both the exact same RAM. They're Vengeance, Corsair Vengeance LPX DDR4 3200 megahertz. So they're like that. At some point, probably during a rebuild, because this computer was originally in my computer room and I did move some stuff around component wise when I moved it out to the garage here when I built a new computer for my computer room. The RAM went from being like this, where it was like the 2 old and the 2 new, which is like how it's supposed to be. It went to like this, but I didn't realize that. So during the troubleshooting I was doing to try and figure out why it was blue screen, I figured it might have been a RAM issue. So I pulled out a pair at a time just to see, right? I pulled out 2 sticks. The problem is I was pulling the 2 sticks out thinking they were like this when they were like this. So that means every time I pulled the 2 sticks out and then I tried the other 2 sticks, I still had a faulty stick of RAM in it because I did mem test and I checked each stick of RAM I had, and 2 of them, which are the sequential serial numbered ones of the original kit I bought back in 2019, they are dead. These sticks throw like thousands of errors in mem test. That's not good. That's not good. So the 2 that I have in there now, Passed mem test. They ran the full test for like 4 hours or whatever. They ran fine. So on the downside, we're down to 16 gigs of RAM instead of 32 gigs on this computer. On the upside, that's actually not a huge deal. I mean, like, right now, running the stream, we're using, what, 9 gigs? And that's with everything open, Spotify going, whatever. I'm honestly, we're fine. Yeah. So, is what it is. It kind of sucks, obviously, but you know, I think we figured it out. I did do a test stream yesterday where essentially I came out here in the garage. I fired up everything like I would be streaming. I just didn't hit the start streaming button. I recorded though, so the encoder would actually do something. And every now and then I came out here and opened a program and moved stuff around, and I did that for a couple hours and everything seemed stable. So I did a test stream yesterday, and so we should be good. We should be good. We should be good. So yeah. Also, about that hockey game, eh? So I think we're good now. We should be fine. Hopefully that was the end of the issues. Hopefully that was the end of the issues. Are we sure? It's not the motherboard. I blew out the motherboard. One, the RAM had been in it like continuously, so it's not like there was open slots where stuff could have got in. When I open computers, I have an air compressor in here. I clean it out. And also I did all the testing on one same slot. So I was checking each stick of RAM individually in a same slot. And it's the fact that the two that failed are the sequential serial number, and they failed in the same slot as the two that passed in the same slot. And then the two that passed, I put in, because it was the slot I tested, and then the matching slot for the two RAM sticks that are now installed, and then those passed. I'm just going to assume that it was the two sticks only, and the motherboard's fine. So, your streaming computer has as much RAM as my Raspberry Pi. Everyone, Nick, why did you buy a 16 gig Raspberry Pi? We all watched the Jeff Geerling video. There's like no need for a 16 gig. Why do you have a 16 gig Raspberry Pi? What do you need 16 gigs on a Raspberry Pi for? What can you even do with a 16 gig I use 2 gig Raspberry Pis, and I don't even know what I'm going to do with that much overhead. What are you doing? A bunch of containers in it. Ziploc sells bulk containers, you know that. Okay, so what are we doing today? Today is a nice Friday, nice relaxing Friday stream. If all goes well, we should be pushing some plastic. Oh wait, it's an 8 gig one. Everyone, laugh at the peasant. Everyone, we now need to laugh at the peasant who couldn't spring for the 16 gigs of RAM in their Raspberry Pi. They have a paltry 8. A paltry 8 gigs. Peasant. It's like the Simpsons meme with the pathetic. That's what you get for bragging about your 16. Oh wait, sorry, 16. Your 8 gigs of RAM. Ooh, 8 gigabytes. Okay, what are we doing today? What are we doing today? All in good fun. All in good fun. Did I fix the Sensorless? No, I haven't touched this. I'm kind of not, I wasn't in a good mood after the stream ended, I'll be honest, because I was hoping to work on a video for this weekend, so I got to figure out what the video is, and instead I spent the whole day troubleshooting issues on this. And then yesterday I had some family stuff, so yeah, I haven't touched this since the stream ended. So where we left off, we have to just figure out why the Sensorless is being a little get the Sensorless a little bit better, do our PID tunings, do our Z offsets, and then do our input shaping, and then we're ready to print. Obviously this is not the final stream with this. As you can see, for an enclosed printer, it's very much like the Pope, and it's very holy. So we got to fix that. So that will be, we'll do the all that stuff on a later stream next week or something, because it's easier to show off the printer printing. And also, good idea never to enclose your Voron as soon as you build it, because you're gonna find you did something wrong at some point, and it's a lot easier to get a wrench in certain locations if you just leave it open until. So usually what I do is I'll build the printer up, I'll print with it for a bit just to make sure everything's good, and then I put the enclosure on. So let's get this movable feast underway. So where we left off, it homes, right? Yeah, it homes. So as you can see, the sensorless is a little, so I think we got to bump those numbers up. I think we got to bump those up. So we're at 80. Let's try 100. Let's try 100 for the intensity or the sensor. Save and restart. Also, I think I got to fix these belts. Are the belts hitting before the... Yeah, the belts are hitting before, so I gotta trim these belts. How tensioned are these? I gotta tension them. So let's get the belt tension, right? Okay, let's see. Actually, do this at the back. One. Oh yeah, those are loose. 1, 2. There we go. 1, 2. There we go. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of de-racking, but I'll worry about that after. Don't forget, while we're doing all this, huge shout out to 3D GLOOP. If you don't know what this build is about, we are building a Voron V2 for 3D GLOOP. If you don't know who 3D GLOOP is, they make cool adhesives for your different plastics for 3D printing, so you can make stuff and glue it together really goodly, because it's really good gloop. That's why it's called GLOOP for 3D printing stuff. It's 3D GLOOP. Anyways, if you want to buy some, link in the video description. You get 15% off your order with code Canuck. That code, I believe, does expire whenever I finish building this series. So that's why it's taken so long to build this. I wanted to make sure you all got your GLOOP in while we had the discount. Also, if you want to win some filament from Polymaker, every stream we do give away a spool of filament from Polymaker. Link in the video description. Enter for your chance to win. And if you want to help support the channel, the content I create, and the things I do, consider becoming a channel member, Patreon supporter, or just check out some of the other links in the video description, affiliate links. Don't cost you anything extra, go a long way to support the channel. And others, like Gamer Subs, use code Canuck, save some money on your order as well. End stop X still triggered after retract. Okay, let's try Y. Let's see how Y is doing. Yeah, it's still doing the bump. Still doing the bump. Maybe 100's too much. Let's try 90. And also, I think I gotta trim the belt. I think the belt is bumping, and that's part of what's causing this issue. Yeah. See, the problem with this has the tap in it, and the problem with the tap is it doesn't have the same amount of it doesn't have as much room to stuff belts in like the normal stock tap. Because it's the CNC tap, it doesn't really have the extra room that you would normally have to like shove the extra belts in. So we kind of have to just snippy snip. So hopefully we never have to take these belts off. I forgot these are steel core. Oh man, those are, there we go. Those are some toit belts. Do you implement safety precautions when printing ABS ASA? Not really. I try to make it a habit not to be in the room while it's printing, as much as possible. And when I print ABS and ASA on printers, I print them on enclosed printers, and I keep the doors closed. And I try to make it a habit not to open the doors until after the print finishes. That way, all the particulates of VOC settle on the chamber itself instead of wafting. Okay, let's see how this is going to do. See, I don't like that because it fixes itself on the X, but on the Y, it's shifted slightly to the left. Let's try 85. Let's try 85 because I think we're getting there. 85. Isn't there like an auto tune for this too now? Just sworn there's like an auto tune for this now. Stick my nose in it in yellow. Okay, let's try this. See, that's not good. It's even worse now. Try 100 or 125. Well, here, let's try 120. You said 120? Between 100 and 125. Let's try 120 then. End stop X still triggered after retract. Let's try Y. And stop Y still triggered after retract. Okay. I shouldn't have retries. Where is stepper X? Where is retries? Where is retries even at in the config? Where is that even at in the config for retries? Safe Z. Probe. That's retries for Z. Where is retries even at? Retry. Yeah, it only has the one retry right here for Z. Homing override. We don't really have a homing override. Yeah, we don't have an override. I know I commented it out. Well, we commented out the homing retract distance. Unless that, oh, it should be 0. I think it should be 0 instead of commenting it out. The reason we went with sensorless is twofold. One, again, this is a machine not meant for me. This is a machine that's going to somebody else. So by going sensorless, this machine's going to be shipped, like moved around. So sensorless is one less thing to break, essentially. Sensorless, it's just, we don't have to worry about sensors breaking because there is no sensors to break. That is kind of the point. Okay, let's try this now. There we go. A little bit of a bump on the Y. A little bit of a bump on the Y. Let's try 125. Let's try 125. Let's try 125 on the Y. Come on, come on, come on. Still doing a little bit of a bump. Still doing a little bit of a bump. Let's try 130. I mean, it's not a huge thing. Honestly, this'll be more of an issue for, there we go. So let's just do this. Let's just do this. Ready? Let's just do this. 1 second here. 5. Let's try this. Yeah, I know it had a bump on the X. I saw that. I'll take it. I'll take it. I will take it. Okay. So now actually double check 35 millimeters. Yep, 35. So we're good on the Z movement. Now we get to do everything's favorite fun thing to do. Sensorless, or correction, PIDs. We got to do some PIDs. Where is PIDs? Clipper PID. What is the Voron design guide? Because I can never remember what the frickin' G code is for PID. Somebody will probably write it in chat before I pull it up here. The build, initial startup, Control F, PID. There we go. Okay. There we go. We'll start with the bed. Bed to 100. Hopefully the bed actually heats up. Okay, good. The bed's heating up. There we go. There we go. Light's not flickering, so that's good. I just got replacement umbilical cable, ordered a mellow, and they sent a cable half populated. Well, that's not good. That's not good. Is there a chance the cable will get in the way? Potentially. I may put a whatchamacallit, like some sort of like nylon or whatever string to tie to it, just to give it a little bit more stiffness. But I'm not too concerned right now. I have some weed whacker line I could use or something. Oh yeah, the max power on the bed. I forgot to check that. Because it might still be set up the old way. Heater bed, max power. Yeah, it's still set up the old way. 1 second. Save and restart. I forgot. Old config, probably. Bed 1.0%. There we go. Now we do the PID again. So the old thinking, it was based on, I'm trying to remember, I believe it was like an article on the Duet RepRap forum or something, where at a certain point it was figured out that the optimal heating for a bed was like 0.6 watts per square centimeter or something like that, for optimal heating. And so the idea was if you heated your bed at that rate, it would be optimal and you wouldn't get tacoing, which is what happens when you try and dump too much heat into something too quickly. It can basically, repeated cycling can cause it to warp essentially, or taco. So the idea was if you basically detuned your bed heater, because most of these heaters are way bigger than you need to heat a bed. Like think about it, the 256 or the 250 bed on a Prusa is 110 watts, whereas this is like 500. You don't need that much heat. So the idea was you would run your bed at a lower power to get to that 0.6 watts per, or 0.4 watts or whatever the math worked out to per centimeter. And it turned out after doing a bunch of testing, yeah, that meant that did absolutely nothing. It didn't do any, it didn't change anything. So you might as well send it at 100%. So it was one of those things that, like, you read an article, it made sense at the time based on the knowledge at the time, but then more testing came out and kind of nullified it. It is what it is. There was nothing wrong with going, well, we did it this way based on the ideas at the time, and new information came out, and so we changed our reasoning, and now we do it this way. We are not politicians. We're allowed to do that. So now we're doing some PIDs. Also, I got to play with the fans. They're very whiny. The fans that came with this kit for the undercooling are pretty whiny. I'm going to try running them at 100%, but running them at 12 volts instead of 24 volts at 50%. Because they are 24 volt fans, so if I run them at 12 volts, you get like it's not logarithmic, but whatever. Is this a real human? That is... freaking hell. Twitter's going to shit. It's like, hey guys, I'm going live. Very first like is from Betsy. I really don't think Betsy is a real human here. I'm pretty sure Betsy is not a real human. Goodbye, Betsy. Every time I tweet anything on that site, the very first like I get is from a porn bot. Go to Blue Sky. So much nicer. That's your friend, very real. Yes, this is an LDO kit. It's an older LDO kit. This is the Rev C kit, but it's not much of it. There's a bunch of mods as well. So this is the Rev C kit, but it has a bunch of extra stuff, such it's got a Nomi, it's got a tool head board. This kit didn't come with the tool head board. We've changed a bunch of stuff on this kit. So it's based on an LDO kit, but it's had some upgrades done to it. And actually, while this is doing that, I'm gonna swap these out because these are the wrong size. What is the optimal print time? There is no optimal print time before enclosing. Usually what I do, I'll do a few calibration prints just to make sure everything's hunky-dory. And then I'll do a big long print just to put some hours on it, print like a helmet or something big and dumb. And then if I'm happy with it, then I'll enclose it. It just, you know, how confident are you in your building skills, essentially? Do you believe you built it well? Okay, do a few tests, make sure it's good, then close it up. Do you believe, hey, maybe I should put some more time on it just to make sure everything's good? Well, put some more time on it, make sure everything's good, then close it up. There's no hard yes, no answer. I can't go, oh, you should do 32.45 hours of testing before you close up your printer. I can't do that because that's a non-answer. Make sure it's good, seal it up. Simple as that. I'm getting rid of this because we don't need the cable bridge because we went sensorless. Sensorless, and we don't have, whatchamacallit. Sensorless, and we don't have drag chains, so. Looks massive. It's a 300. It's a 300 build, not a 350. It's a 300. 350 is much, well, isn't much bigger. I mean, to be fair, 350 build is only just much bigger. Like, it just goes to here. Because remember, this doesn't change. The edging, the unused space of the printer doesn't change when you make it bigger. Tube takeoff head. I'm just waiting on a power supply to show up. Waiting on a power supply, and then once I get that, we'll get back to this guy. And then We'll probably start the build for the box turtle next week. That'll probably be the Tuesday builds going forward, is box turtle. Bed PIDs take a bit. All good. Well, so far the computer isn't crashing, so we're good, hopefully. Yeah. I'm just sticking with the 16 gig. I don't need 32 gig. All this computer does is stream. It runs a live stream. So OBS, all the encoding's handled by the video card. What do I have open? I have, okay, wow, a bunch of Chrome tabs or Firefox tabs, Prusa slicer. Occasionally I do some CAD work. 16 gigs is fine on this computer. Like, it was nice that I had 32 because I just had 32, but I'm not gonna go buy a bunch of new sticks. Just sent me a DM. DM? What's up? Has a lifetime warranty. Yeah, I might RMA it. I got to figure out the receipt, because the thing is, it is like a 5+ year-old stick of RAM, or sticks of RAM. Like, it was bought in 2019. So, do you use Rogers? Hell no. No, I'm lucky. I have a local ISP for fiber. So, and then I use Telus for my phone. Oh yeah, we got to set up the Nomi. How do we do the Nomi? Please use the wireless network function on your computer or mobile phone to search and connect to Nomi. Okay, so how does Nomi work? So I use my phone, it's searching for networks. Because I just want to do it where it just like does temperature or something. Because I don't want to have to set it up on my home network. Just for the fact that, like, PTT Nomi, okay. Okay. Yeah, so you have to like connect it to your home network. Okay, so let's put it on my. Okay, so 192.168.110.111 Clipper port 80 tool ID tool 0, I guess. Submit. Confirm. Okay. It doesn't see my router out here, but it sees my router in my house. So I will connect it to that. Oh, 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 oh. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know what it's doing. I've never used the Nomi. I mean, if it just does this, I'm okay with it, because I really don't want to go through all the hassle of setting it up and connecting it to my network, and then whoever, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it doing that. I think it's cool doing that, because the problem is, like, the way the Nomi works, if you don't know how the Nomi works, it's completely independent. So this has to talk to a router to talk to the Raspberry Pi, okay, to pull the information from. And the problem is, because this machine will be at trade shows and whatnot, it won't be able to do that a lot of the time. It's can it talk directly to the Pi? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm not too concerned. Like we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Oh, that's done. Okay, save config. So now we do the Hotend. Put a GLOOP logo on it. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay, PID tune the Hotend now. Oh no, it is working. It is working. Okay, so it is talking. Okay. It is talking, I guess. Will smooth idlers cause artifacts on the belt? Not really. As long as the surface contact area is enough, you have enough teeth engaged at the same time, and you don't go too crazy over tightening your belts, you should be okay. What Hotend is this? This is just a Revo. It's just a Revo, which is good for this machine. Like, I could be fancy and put like a high temp one, but we're gonna save this one. Plus that's 0.8. Not to do bed and Hotend at the same time, because it only does one at a time, I guess. I don't know. You run one G code, you save it. You run the other G code, you save it. Yeah, Nomi uses Moonraker, but it still needs to talk to the Pi through something, because there's no actual connection between them other than power. It's not like there's a USB cable that goes through it all, as far as I'm aware. I believe the Nomi just draws power. So it's just pulling through the Moonraker API. So it still needs to talk somehow. I love that first heat up of a 3D printer when like all the oils and whatnot are burning off and you're like, that smells not great. Does it have touch? I believe it has touch. I guess not. No, it doesn't have touch, I don't think. Oh well. I mean, if you're going to be using a touchscreen, you probably shouldn't be mounting it to the head of the thing that moves on your printer. Yeah. I don't know. Where did I put the box for it? Oh, it is a Nomi V2. It is a Nomi V2. I don't know what touch does. Oop. Oh, you can scroll up. Okay, start printing. Oh, I see how it works. So scroll up, brings that up. Oh, there we go. Oh. So UI color. Well, we're gonna have to change the UI color. Purple. There we go. Backlight. Oh, we want that bright. I want that bright. Okay. Okay, but this is still red. Oh well, whatever. Okay, so that's done. So save config. So now we need to do offsets. So let's do a QGL. Oh wait, let me save config. Save config. Oop. Save config section, extruder option, controls value. Ooh. Shoot. I might have to rerun this. Heater bed. Okay, that's bed. Why isn't the Hotend one overriding that? That's the bed heater. Extruder. Oh wait, it's on. It's in here. Yeah, the Hotend's in a separate file. Okay, watch this. Ready? Copy. Machine. UV cam. KP is KI and KD. There we go. There we go. Okay, so home all, we'll do a QGL, we'll do our Z offset, and then we will do extruder calibration, and then we can start printing. So let me get the nozzle, let's get the bed to 100. Let's do the nozzle at 150. Nope, not 1,150, 150. Okay. And then, shoot, what is it? It is Z end stop calibrate, I believe. Right? Yeah, Z end stop calibrate, I believe is the right one. Z end stop calibrate. Look at that purple. I like that. This will be enclosed. We're just not enclosing it yet because I have to do all the, I want to make sure it's all good. Everything's good before we put panels on it, essentially. Plus, bring it in. I forgot to print the panel clips. We got to figure out what color we're doing the panel clips. Are we doing them in orange or are we doing them in purple? Or are we doing them in white? Okay, QGL. Just let the bed stabilize and then we'll do a QGL. And then we'll do another home, and then we'll do our Z offset calibrate. Why not both and do the annex clip? Ooh, that'd be cool. I could do them in orange, and then with purple locks. That'd be cool. Clips in white to match the frame with purple or orange clips would be nice. Okay, QGL. And for anyone like, oh my God, it's going so slow. These are the default values. I haven't played with the default values. We're still running default values. Yeah, we can do a shaper calibrate. We'll do a shaper calibrate just to see what we get stock. .02, we're trying to get to 0.0075. Should it be closer to the back? That's just wherever the default values are for a 350. I can dig it. I can dig it. Okay, so let's do Z and stop calibrate. Is that not the right? Z and stop calibrate. Or is it probe calibrate? Probe calibrate. Probe calibrate. Okay. Now we need the most advanced piece of tuning equipment in the world. A piece of paper ripped off a Prusa manual. Without this, this is how you make sure your printer do printer stuff printingly. Down. That'll work. Accept. Save config. That'll work. Okay, home all. We'll bring it up, and then we got to make sure the extruder is working. Because if the extruder don't work, we ain't going too far with this. All right, 220. Let's get some pla. We need some delicious pla. Delicious pla. You are not pla, you're patuk. You're abs. Oh, you're pla. We'll go with this. Some delicious, nutritious pla. We'll go with some Prusa pla. I need something to hold this while we print. I need something to hold this while we print. Where is all my buckets? There's one back there, but it's being used. Am I out of... Oh, we got one over here. Aha. I'm going to turn you off. There we go. Good old delicious pla. It's my favorite pla. Only the best pla for this printer. Use our Polymaker dry box to hold it. And we're going with orange because it matches the theme of the printer. And because I had it already and it was on the top of the pile. Let's get this in a camera angle that you guys can see. So we'll do this. You will come here. I need a box. This is the box. Up. Now I need a little piece of pitifa. Where's my pitifa? Pitifa. I know I have some pitifa somewhere. Aha! Pitifa. Just a little bit of pitifa. Andrew's here. Everyone say hi, Andrew. This is his printer. So have we figured out how I'm getting this to you, by the way? Have we figured that out yet? Also, don't count your chickens yet. We haven't made sure this actually prints yet. We haven't actually done any calibration to make sure this even prints. Nope. Okay, so you ready? Oh my God, plastic comes out. That's good. Okay. So that's good. So, we are going to extrude 5 millimeters of filament at 5 millimeters a second. Extrude. We're going the wrong way. We're going the wrong way. Okay, so EBB can. So extruder direction. Delete that. And we have a clockwork 2. So where's the gear ratio? Gear ratio for clockwork 2 is 50 to 10. So we should be okay there. Save and restart. I hate when I accidentally hit that. There we go. 220. Okay. Okay, let that get up. Okay, so extrude. Aha. I think we're good there. Okay, so now we need to make sure we're actually doing the right amount of extruding, roughly. Oh, we already had to reverse it. Yeah, we had to reverse it. So what I like to do is, instead of like doing some fancy stuff, I just kind of do that. Measure off the top of that. Put a tick right there. So that's 100 millimeters. So let's do 50 extrude. It's a very nice orange, I will say. And another 50 millimeters extrude. And then it should stop in 3, 2, 1, stop. Perfect. You're within margin of error. We'll give it. I will take it. We will take it. So turn that off. Turn the bed on. 5, retract. Booyah. Okay, so now, 1 second here. Now I need to add some stuff just to make sure this is all good. Because I need to add, where to go, machine. Toolhead, MCU, max extrude to stuff, EV can. And yes, I know we haven't done any PID tuning yet or anything like that. Or pressure advance. You know what? Here, let me, history. Which one is this? I will steal some values. I'm going to steal some values from another machine. Just for now, just so we have something to... Where's pressure? Yeah, we'll just do the pressure advance. Pressure advance 0.4. Is pressure advance already in this one? I don't see pressure advance. Well. Pressure advance 0.4. Save and restart. There we go. Are you going to be Rapid in April? It's in Chicago. It's not in Chicago. Rapid is in Detroit in April. And yes, I will be going. You were thinking of Form Next that was supposed to be in Chicago, and they canceled it. So now it's just Rapid in Detroit. Okay. So yes, I will be at Rapid in Detroit. Trying to get a 3D printer across the border shouldn't be an issue. I don't foresee it. I'm trying to find some paper towels. I don't know where my paper towels went. So I can wipe this bed down. Yeah, use that. I don't foresee it being an issue, bringing a printer across the border. But The thing is, this actually is a expensive item. And the last thing I want to do is lie to a border guard about why I'm bringing something across the border. So we'll figure something out. We will figure something out before now and then. Oh yeah, shaper calibrate. Okay, home all. Reverend, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about taxes and duties. I'm worried about them going, oh, you're importing a $1,000 item into the US? Let's see your paperwork. Because I ain't got no paperwork. That's what I'm worried about. Shaper calibrate. I don't have numpy installed. Okay, we'll do that later. We'll do the shaper stuff later. Plus, there's really no point in doing shaper stuff until the panels and everything are on anyway, so that's going to change the harmonics. But we can do some printing. Prepare. Okay, so we don't have the... So we got a Voron Trident 300. Or no, it's not a Trident, it's a V2. Add remove. Will steel core belt to shape calibrate? Yes, it will affect. Everything affects shaper calibrate. If you're putting your hand on your printer while it's doing shaper calibrate, yes, it will affect it. Is your printer on a rickety bench or on a concrete floor when you run shaper calibrate? Yes, it will affect it. Everything that has to do with how the printer moves will affect shaper calibrate. The question is, how much will it affect it? That I don't know. But everything about the motion system of a printer will affect how your shaper results, how your input shaper tune is. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But it depends on how much each affects it and how it balances out with other things. That's where you got to do some testing. So I love how everyone still uses like the stock picture of a Voron V2 with the afterburner as the profile. Okay, what are we printing? What are we printing? What are we printing? We got a brand new printer here. What are we printing? Load up printables here. What do we got? What do we got? What's this? The Benchy Remix. What are we printing here? What are we printing here? 3D models. What are we printing? What's popular? Downloads in the past 90 days. We got the Benchy. How bad are steel core belts? The problem with steel core belts is they will eventually work hardened and fail at this radius, potentially. Bodhi. I'm looking for a fun print. Something fun and quick. A super safe lower. I mean, if it's a lower for an Article 15, then I do like being a free citizen in my country right now. Let's do this bone dragon. Want to do a bone dragon? Do a bone dragon. STL files. We'll do the little guy. We'll do the little guy. We'll do the little guy. Okay, so generic ABS. Now this is generic PLA. Stock settings. Slate. So this is fully stock set. Actually, let me turn on a skirt. Skirt loops 3. 3. This should give me time to go, oh shit! How long is this print? Oh, we can print a longer one. We got time. I got 2 hours. Let's do the 10 unit one. Let's do the 10 one. We got time. There we go. We got 2 hours. There we go. Hour and 30 minutes. There we go. We do a little bone dragon. Okay. Export G code. Save. Yes, I know I can set it up in here. Okay. Upload and print. Bone Dragon. Okay, so before we do that, oh, the motors are engaged. I gotta put a Northrint 3D bed adhesive. Sure, why not? Unknown command, exclude object define. Oh, I haven't set up exclude object yet. Oh, I know the glitching. The glitching thing has nothing to do with the computer itself. It's an issue with the CPU, whatchamacallit thing. It's an issue with the fact that CPU timing thing. Because essentially, I'm using a capture card that plugs in via PCI Express. It's a PCI Express capture card. And so what's happening is when I go to slice something, because the slicing software basically hammers all the cores very quickly all at once, it basically screws up the timings and causes the capture card to glitch out. This is not something related to just this computer, because the exact same behavior happened on my Intel-based computer that I stream with also. So it's not just, it's a more of a universal problem. I should have put a little stuff on the bed. Where does he stop? Let's put a little something on the bed. Just to have a little something. Where'd my brush go? Oh, here it is. There we go. I got it on my hands now. Should that be feeling like burning? Probably not. Okay. Go, Bone Dragon. I'm probably also going to have to live offset Zed. Get a pastry brush to season the bed. I just use these cheap brushes that, like, I stole a bunch. I borrowed a bunch of these from work before I quit, but I'm like running low on them. And by sport, I mean they just happen to be in my work toolbox. A muscular mushroom man. Now we gotta wait for that. What did I do at work? I was a mold maker. I was a tool maker. I built, or correction, I didn't design. I wasn't an engineer. Don't call me that. But I was a guy on the floor who put together injection molds. So I would put the molds together. I would take them apart. I would do repairs on them, do maintenance on them. I would build them up, do engineering changes and whatnot. Wait, where'd you go? So, mold maker by trade, skill trade mold maker. GLOOP, well, you're not actually supposed to use GLOOP on the bed. You can use GLOOP on the bed, but it's not really designed for that. GLOOP is designed for gluing 3D prints together. So if you have two different objects made out of plastic, same plastic, and you want to glue them together, GLOOP works really good, because GLOOP isn't really a glue. It's Disclosure, GLOOP is not good for you. Do not get it on your hands. Wear gloves, wear a respirator, do it in a well-ventilated environment. But essentially, it breaks down the chemical bonds between the plastics and basically cause it to reform. It's like it's kind of like acetone welding, but you can do it with all the like different types. Not just PLA, they make different formulas for different plastics because you actually need different formulas for different plastics for it to do the chemical bonding, essentially. GLOOP is insanely, it makes it insane. The bond will pretty much be stronger than the plastic by itself, I've noticed. And I do like it a bit more than ABS or acetone for ABS welding because it's a little bit thicker. So. I don't know what the face is doing. By the way, it's nice that we have a V2 on the desk. I don't have to build up like a bunch of old filament boxes to get the camera up high enough to look at the first layer. Ooh. Yeah, I should have printed the Stealthburner with the cat ears. Ooh. It's waking up. It's waking up. When am I building the box here? Probably not till next week. Probably be on the Tuesday stream going forward. Oh, what's going on? Well, I know it's not. Oh, I don't think we have the. Shoot, the startup temperature isn't right. Shoot, what's the startup script? What's the startup script? Because the stupid startup script, I know this fricks up something. Printer.cfg. It's the stupid print start macro. I got to change the print start macro. Which has tap in it. You have tap in it. Tall boy. Print, no, history. Which one is it? There we go. Yeah, I need a better print start macro. Printer.cfg. Print start, there we go. One second here, print end. Yeah, let's put a better print start macro. Ooh, save and restart. There we go. Should be good now. Pull the macro from Tallboy because Tallboy has tap. So, okay, let's do this again. My feet are getting cold. It breaks down the PEI coating. The DCM is there to break down the substrate plastic and allow the chemistry to react. Ooh, science! Do what when Gamer Subs needs a 2.4? I mean, honestly, I probably could get Gamer Subs to sponsor a build, I believe. Like, I have nowhere near enough pull to get them to, like, do a cup or a flavor or anything. But I could get them to sponsor a build, maybe, if I reach out. I gotta figure out what... I gotta figure out that stuff. I gotta do more sponsored stuff. Do you think CNC tap? I'll be honest, I like the CNC taps. I like the CNC taps. I have them in a couple machines. I have one of the Vitali ones. It's nice. And then I've got 2 or 3 machines with the Chaotic Lab tap kit. It's more solid than the printed tap. The printed tap works, and it works fine. It's just these work more fine. and they technically should last longer because they're not made out of plastic. So. Okay, so we'll wait for all this to heat up again. Issues with the magnets pulling off printed tap, even with Gorilla Glue. Oof. Wow, that's surprising. I don't think I've ever glued mine in. Or maybe just like a drop of super glue, if anything, and it seemed to work fine. The Diamondback nozzles? Diamondback nozzles are good. Diamondback nozzles are the nozzle you buy if it's like, this machine is going to do nothing but print abrasive materials all day, every day, forever. Like if I was running a print farm where it's like, hey, all my printers are going to be printing nothing but carbon fiber PETG, yeah, I'd look into Diamondback nozzles. They're not really the best for higher temperature stuff because they can't get above 300 last I checked. But for your normal plastics printed with abrasive infill, they are like the best option. It's just you have to be doing it enough, in my opinion, for it to be worth the premium. What's the temp in the shop? 20 Celsius. It's actually not too bad. It's just the floor is cold. I'd rather the floor be lava, but the floor is just chilly. Wouldn't tungsten carbide be enough? Yes, but diamond's harder. That's why I'm saying you have to be printing enough for it to be worth it. Like that's the thing. It's got to be printing enough for it to actually be worth the price difference. So if it's like, this machine is only ever going to print that, then yeah. Like for example, that Mark IV has a Fadis tungsten nozzle in it. And yes, it does print a bunch of abrasive, but it also prints other stuff. The thermal yes. The diamond insert itself is much better at thermal conductivity than other insert materials too. Like the Diamondback guys know what they're doing. They make, like, Diamondback is an offshoot of US Synthetic, which they make drill bit inserts for like Roughnecks drilling oil and shit. So like these guys, they kind of know what they're doing when it comes to making inserts for specialty use cases. So. Okay, now we're heating up. Good, now we're heating up. What's my probe to nozzle offset? XY is 0, because it's a nozzle probe. And then for the Z offset is like 0.6 millimeters, I think, roughly. I'm probably gonna have to live adjust the Z just to dial it in, because I only did the paper test to get it close. Usually, my usual go-to for calibrating my Z offset is I just do it with a piece of paper to get me in the ballpark, and then I'll just live adjust Z on my first print and then just save, hit save, and then we're good. Like, yeah, Voidstar did a tour. I have an open invite to do a tour if I'm ever in the area. The problem is I'm not in the area. Ooh, that actually looks pretty good. Might do a little bit more squish. Actually, we might be good. Let me do 0.25 squish. I think that, is Anomi talking? I think it is talking. I think it just does that while it's printing. It's been a while since I've printed on flat PI, by the way. Like, why did I build a 2.4 for GLOOP and not tried it? That's what they wanted. This is the kit they sent me to build. There we go. Now it's... Is that an accelerometer? Is that an accelerometer reading it's giving there for... It's saying XYZ with different charts. Is that accelerometer? That's pretty cool. Or is that acceleration? Either way, that's cool. That's cool. It's just a built-in accelerometer. That's cool. Just a little feedback. I mean, to be fair, it's like, you know, we have a big honking screen right here. And, well, not big honking, but we got a screen right there. How's the first layer look? If you want to see the first layer. Woo! How's the first layer look, guys? Could stand to go a little lower. Yeah, see, this is the downside. You just gotta hope you don't do a Z plus 300 right now. Guillotine myself. I'm gonna leave that Z okay there. Not too shabby. So this is fully stock right now, by the way. Unknown command, exclude object. Oh shoot, I gotta add the exclude object. 1 second here. Add that to the config. What is it? Include, exclude object. What is the... is it just include, exclude object? Yeah, exclude object. Or that's what it is. It's this. Machine, printer... exclude object, save. There we go. So this is gonna wobble a bunch because this desk is not stable. Like, this desk is on wheels. And this is fully stock settings. Like, we haven't changed anything. This is just the straight Orca Slicer profile with the whatever the default config setup is. So this is straight out of defaults here. Guillotine, not guillotine. It's the King Remover 9000. That's what it is. What color is the frame? White. And it's a custom frame. Nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear. Also, trick, whenever you're doing skirts, do 3-layer skirts. That way, if you screw up your Z offset and you drive it into the bed and that first layer, that skirt is really adhered, it's a lot easier to remove when there's 3 layers instead of just one very thin layer smeared over your PI. Did I see the Nita med kit with the jacked up casters? I did not. The casters on here are just, this is a toolbox. Like if you're wondering what my view is when I'm live streaming, there's you guys. So there's that screen, and there's my bigger screen, but it has like OBS and then chat. And then you got my mess on the desk, and then my toolbox. This camera flips upside down, and I have to install the Logitech software to tell it to stop that. But yeah, so it's my toolbox. This is just a it's an extra flexi spot desk that I just bolted on top. So it's a flexi spot desk, and I just bolted it on top. Just so I had more room. If you guys remember the first little bit out here, we were just building right on the toolbox, and there were builds that I was doing that were like a little too big to fit on top of the toolbox. Why, you don't like the way we pronounce Zed? What's wrong with the way we pronounce Zed? Zed. The mighty zebra on the African savannah. You know, that video game DayZ with the zombies? The Zedbees? Like, I don't know right now why your president is so obsessed with trying to, like, take over countries for rare earth metals. Judging from last night, you Americans have all the silver you need right now, so... What infill? When do we switch to this infill pattern as the standard? What infill is this? This is monotonic. When did monotonic become like the standard infill line? When did that happen? Well, monotonic's not too bad. Monotonic's like gyroid light. Because it goes, instead of it being wavy and then changing, like going wavy this way, then wavy that way, and having that merge, it's straight this way, then straight that way with a little merge in between. I mean, for cosmetic prints like this, it doesn't really matter. I just don't think it would be a great infill for strength, for high infill needs. It's like, usually my go-to, if I'm doing something with a high infill percentage, like density for like printer parts, I usually go with cubic. At high infill percentage, I'll do cubic. And then for low infill percentage, I like gyroid, because gyroid's all wavy. I find when you're doing low infill percent, and you know how every now and then you got to print something, you got to like, you have a detail that just starts in the air and you got to hope like support material or infill is there for it to start on. I find like when you're doing like 5 or 10% gyroid, because it's all wavy, you have a better chance of it landing on something. Say. How do I say gyroscope? It's gyroscope. 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 The accent is silent. Richard, you want to know the best part? I'm always trolling. If you pay attention, I switch between Z and Z on the streams all the time. It's a gyroscope. Gyroscope. I use a gyroscope to stabilize my gyro while I print with gyroid infill. How's our... Okay, that's good there. Motors are stone cold. I gotta clean my heater. Starting to smell burning fur. 16th workday. Oof. Take a vacation, man. I've done 40 plus days of working in a row. It's not worth it. It's never worth it. Never worth it. What speeds? Whatever the defaults are. This is the bone stock Orca Slicer V2, Voron V2 default profile with the default speeds and feeds in the config. We haven't done any input shaping calibration, and the only calibration is just like we're running 0.04 pressure advance, which is I'm okay. Ah! Ow, that hurt. Woo. Ugh. You ever have that sneeze? Like, I coughed and I sneezed at the same time, but it wasn't enough. And like, it's like, my body's like, you're gonna sneeze again. And I'm like, I just exhaled all the air. I have nothing to propel out. And my body's like, I dry heaved a sneeze and that hurt. Ugh. Ah. You know what will fix this real good? A delicious drink of my refreshing gamer sups. Use code Canuck and save 10% off your order. That brand risk hits the spot. Ugh. I smell burning. Not coming from that. Maybe it's just the plastic. Oh, it might just be off-gassing from the bed, maybe. The Reverend gifted 5 community memberships. Cheers and appreciated. Does it smell like toast? No, I'm not having a stroke. At least not yet. PSU's on the way. Awesome possum. Well, we're not over melting anything because this print's actually looking really clean, I'll be honest. We'll do the overhead. We'll go overhead for a bit. The overhead doesn't have the colors. Actually, here, let's see. Can we make some better colors? Let's see. What do we got for colors? Scene. Let's see. What do we got for colors here? So we got portrait. No. Sports. Night scene. No. Snow. The beach. No. Sunset. No. Low light. No. Spotlight. No. Fireworks. No. Program auto exposure, maybe? Oh, that seems a bit better. DigiKey FedEx International priority. Damn, son. I thought you already had the power supply. I didn't know you were buying me one. That's why I'm like, oh yeah, if you just have an extra, just send it. I didn't know you were buying me one, man. Cheers. You're like, oh yeah, I got an extra one. I'm like, okay, cool, send it. Like, oh, why'd you buy one? You didn't have to do that. Talk about the benchy thing. What about the benchy thing? We talked about benchies a while ago. It's kind of old news. Like, looking back at the whole benchy thing, it was a big nothing burger. It's just somebody sent a complaint in, and then Printables or Prusa, basically they had to take action because the whole rules with like DMCA and everything is essentially you're allowed to, like, the moment somebody requests something that's like to follow the rules, you kind of have to. So they're like, okay, yeah, I guess there is the license that nobody's following. Fine, we'll enforce it. And then everyone freaked out. And then the rights holder's like, okay, yeah, you know, we never enforced it ourselves. Fine, here it is, open source. And everyone's like, yay. So looking back at it, the whole benchy thing was a giant nothing burger. But it makes sense because it kind of needed to happen. I believe it was a good thing that somebody finally called it out, because now we actually have a concrete answer that yes, you can modify the benchy. Because for longtime viewers of the channel, you guys know I have brought up the issue with the benchy license several times over the years on the stream, where I'm like, yeah, just so you guys know, here's a fun fact. You're not allowed to modify the benchy. Everyone does it, but you're not allowed to. It violates the benchy license. And everyone's like, oh, well, you know, you don't enforce it, whatever. It's like, yeah, the problem is somebody finally put in a request. It was a third party, I guess, put in a request going, hey, these are violating the license. And they technically are. So they are required to follow the request to take them down. And then it's like the people who own the benchy license now is like, oh, okay, here it's open source. And everyone's like, yay! Let's go back to printing the shitty boat that nobody ever uses for what it's actually used for. So. So it's actually, I'm happy that it happened, because a lot of the time it's not that like I agree with something or I disagree with something. It's just, we don't have a solid answer. These are my opinions on it kind of thing. So it's nice that we actually have a solid, this is the answer. Like sometimes you kind of have to let the court do its thing, whether it's the court of public opinion or whatever, but sometimes you just kind of have to let it do its thing. George, do you think anyone's really going to do that? Also, I'm just going to bring this up because just as a fun little comparison, just to compare one side to the other, from this is the hockey game last night. This is all our prime minister tweeted out after the game. This is just all he did. Not the biggest fan of the guy, but you know, as like being the leader of a country, being able just to cue that up on deck and hit send must have felt so damn good. Like you know how like when you're in a conversation online and you got that one response and you're like, you've been saving it, and you pull it out and you slam it down, you hit enter, and you're like, yeah. Sending that out was just like, oh. That's how you shit post online, by the way. Unlike whatever Commandant Cheeto spews out. That's how you shit post. That's how you shit post. Short, sweet, to the point. Even some buddies that I have that hate the guy were like, yeah, that was pretty fire. That was pretty fire. Enjoying stable. So far, so good. I'm pretty sure we fixed the issue. Again, the issue that we had was the freaking dead sticks of RAM. I'm pretty sure I can RMA it. I'm just honestly, should I even bother? Like, I might do it just to, but it's like, oh, okay, now I gotta take pictures of it. I gotta send emails in. I gotta go mail it. Then I gotta wait 3 weeks for it to show up. It's like, I might just do it anyways, just so I have. I mean, it's 16 gigs of RAM. Why not? Ooh. Do I have an email offer for a... I trust you are doing well. I work with GoPro. Hey, what's his name? Where are you? Where's my GoPro guy in chat? What's his name? Where's he at? I don't think he's in chat today. A trailblazer in the action camera industry. Your content's dynamic and engaging content. Your content's dynamic and engaging content. Those are words in English. You guys watch my content, by the way. You know it's not that dynamic. But anyways, has caught our attention, and we think that our cameras will be a perfect fit for your action-packed videos. We are interested in collaborating with you to showcase our latest camera technology. We are positive that this collaboration would not only enhance your content, but also bring mutual benefits. We are thrilled to hear your thoughts and consider this partnership further. Best regards, Isabel, GoPro team. So first it's GoPro, G-O space P-R-O in the heading. And then it's GoPro, like capital G, capital O space Pro. And at the end, it's GoPro, G-O-P-R-O. Also, I'm pretty sure GoPro does an email from shermanmail.com. I think it's a scam email, guys. I think it's a scam email. I think it's a scam email. Where's John at? John! John. We have a guy who pops in, who watches stream. He works for GoPro. We're like, hey, John, is this legit? I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's not. My electric bike ship, though. My electric bike ship, so that'll be fun. This is the year where I'm saying yes to more sponsored stuff, and by sponsored stuff, I'm saying, you know what? If you want to send me something cool, I'll faff around with it, and whatever happens, happens. So, a company called Wind One, I think is how you're supposed to pronounce it, are sending me an e-bike. They're sending me this guy. It's an electric bike. I don't have a bike at all, so this will be fun to fiddle with. I'm like, hey, yeah, if you send it to me, I'll 3D print some accessories or something. We'll have some fun. So that's on its way. So that's something to look forward to. That should be fun. I figure what we'll do is we'll print a little a bottle holder, a little storage compartment here, maybe a little thing on the back for your backpack or something, do some side saddles. Figure make it a little fun thing. Okay, why? I don't know why YouTube's doing this. YouTube is freaking out and keeps wanting me to confirm that I am me. Like a little pop-up goes up. We need to confirm this is you. And it's like, okay. And then I hit next, and then we're good. Something that launches bottle rockets from the handlebar. I'm not weaponizing something like that. Who am I again? And it'll be interesting. Like I've never done this kind of stuff, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Send it. We'll figure it out. The problem I've wanted to get an electric bike for actually quite a while, because like the problem is where I live in the burbs. I live in suburbia. The problem is if I want to go anywhere, it's a road with an unpaved shoulder and no lights. So if I want to go more than like 10 minutes from my house, it's like farmland. It sucks. There's no way to like, I can walk to places, but like, okay, if I want to go to the closest, you know, Timmy's, I have to go on a road with an unpaved shoulder. Like, if I want to go to a gas station, same thing. Ooh. Are we having some warping? We're having, oh, it's those stupid little joint areas are warping a bit. How much part cooling do we got going here? So the only thing I'm a little worried about with the Nomi is part cooling. Apparently it's not supposed to affect part cooling, but what is this 4W fan? I mean, that should have been running the whole time. What is the 4W fan? What is a 4W fan? Hotend fan. The Hotend fan was running. What is the 4W fan? Oh. Like, we are getting air, so it is. One of the downsides with this is this does have tap. So the downside with tap is because the tool head can go up and down, you don't really push down that warpy bit. You know how when you get that little bit that starts to curl and the nozzle kind of pushes it down? If it cools enough, which happens with PLA, instead of it getting pushed down, it'll harden enough and the tool head will just ride up over it. So that's kind of happening a little bit here in a few spots where the it prints that the hooks for the different segments. So I don't think it'll be an issue, but it is doing that. 4-wire fan? Oh yeah, it might be a 4-wire fan. Yeah, I don't have them because we got the fans that matter. We got the controller fans going, the Hotend fans going, and the part cooling fans going. So we're good on that. A 26 gig upload at 1 megabyte a second. Oh God, what are you, okay, what are you uploading 26 gigabytes of? And I feel like 1 megabyte a second? Do you have a tin can with some string tied to your modem? Kids who ride around on their bikes. Like we have sidewalks. So here's the thing, like where I obviously I'm not gonna dox myself, but like where I live, the burbs themselves are nice. It's a relatively newer subdivision. It's like 25 years old or something. A bunch of newer sections, schools and whatnot in the area. So like our little area is actually really nice and it's very walkable to go to parks and whatnot. It's actually not a bad area. I like it. That's why we live here. The problem is it's like, if you want to do anything than just go to the park or walk around, there's nothing nearby. You have to drive. It's like the closest like store that I can go to buy food is I've got like 2 gas stations within walking distance, and that's about it. And each one's about a 5 to 10 minute walk. And that's about it. There's a Timmy's next to one. But like if I want to go to a grocery store, it's get in a car and drive 10 minutes. Like that's kind of the thing. And it's like I can't walk there or take a bike there because it's literally taking a bike on an unpaved shoulder road. Or I have to like cut through a bunch of other subdivisions that make it much longer trip. So new release of the Yugo. What is the Yugo? Post a link to it on the Discord. If you're okay with losing Wi-Fi on the Pi, making it Ethernet only. Well, that's why I don't want to go too far into the setup with the Nomi, because this is all going to have to get set up with however 3D Gloop wants it set up. Because like, yes, I know you can have the Raspberry Pi broadcast a Wi-Fi address and have the Nomi talk to the Pi, but then to talk for the computer to talk to anything, it has to be on Ethernet. So if that's something they want, I can set it up that way. But for now, I'm just leaving it default like this. Because if it's like, oh hey, we'll bring this to the show and we'll bring a router, well then we'll set it up to talk to the router. Like, I know the Yugo was a shitty car. I know that. Because I know I got to put the Ethernet bridge in here, because there's a little connector with a keystone in the back that I can plug in so that there's an Ethernet port on the back of the printer. You hardline everything? Okay, so I'll go ahead and set it up to talk to the thing. We'll do that. Not today, obviously, because I need the Wi-Fi. But I'll do that so you can plug it in Ethernetically. A point cloud in 12D model tin transition colors for 25 kilometer by 5 kilometer had split 14 billion points with 3 files, about 26 gig each. I understood some of those words. You're seeing a car. I want to get a K truck. That's what I want. I want a K truck. The problem is, they're one, in Canada, they go about 10 grand Canadian, so like $5 US. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Your American dollar goes further than ever because our dollar sucks. But I don't have anywhere to store it. That would be the thing. Like, obviously, it'd be like, oh, put it in your garage. Guess where we're at right now. So, it's like, I would love to get a K truck to have as a project vehicle, because that would be something I would love to have for the channel. Because like, if in case you haven't noticed, I'm changing my content up for videos where it's like we're doing projects on videos now. So like, I think this weekend I'm going to do a video on how I set up the little AI chatbot. Like here, do I? Oh, I don't have it on this computer. Google Outlook Docs. How do I get to my Google Docs? How do I get to my pictures? No, not docs, images. Google Drive? It's on my Google Drive. I think it's on my Google Drive. Type my drive. Drive images. I think this is it. Why do I have a bunch of stuff from a concrete company? What is all this? Lawn care services, Lester contracting, what the frick is all this shit? Anyways, I'll just pull it off the Discord. But yeah, so I think this weekend's video here, let me just pull up this video because I'll show you what we're doing. Well, you can watch that while I do this. Because I have the advantage of just going, hey, I uploaded videos to the Discord. And then I can just go find the videos on the Discord. Come on, videos. Come on, videos. Ah. So let's mute. Oh, no, mute that. Mute that. Download. Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? Where'd you go? Ah! There we go. Good morning. Are you ready to start the show today?
Morning, sunshine. I've been up all night crunching numbers and solving world hunger as one does on a Sunday morning. Let's rock this day like a prodigious rooster.
Excellent. So today's stream is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to install some firmware on a 3D printer. Will you be able to keep up with that? Thinking.
Printers are no match for my silicon-based prowess. Let's see if I can make your plastic printer dance like a marionette at a punch and Judy show. Or something like that.
Oh, it's Google Photos. Oh, okay, that would be why. Excellent. Before we get started, though, can you introduce yourself? So I think the video for the channel this weekend will be going over this. How I got this running. So the cool thing is this is entirely locally. This is running completely off the grid. So that's the cool thing.
In the vast expanse of the digital cosmos, where binary stars twinkle and circuits hum with eternal life, I was born as an artificial intelligence, named ALLT, short for All-Purpose Language Learning Tool. I'm a large language model, capable of understanding and generating human language in a mostly coherent manner.
So that's the cool thing that I'm currently working on. So if all goes well, that eventually will be a co-host chatbot for the stream. That will be something that literally I will have in the room and I will have a camera pointed at it and we'll have some sort of feedback or something. So right now it actually works pretty cool because thanks to Megahertz, who's a member of the Discord, there's a setup script. So you basically just download Ubuntu and then you download some stuff and then you run a script and it installs it all. And then you just got to do a little bit of setting it up after and it's good to go. So that's it right now. I can talk to it and it talks back. I got to figure out how to make it more emotive, though. That's the thing. Multi-GPU for extra VRAM. It does. It's running Olama, which can use multiple GPUs. Right now, it's just using the one. I just have a 3080 10 gigabyte card in there. Because the thing is, the issue we're running into now is we're using fast Kokoro as the speech engine for the talking. And the problem is it's not working in GPU right now on Linux. So we're running it on CPU, which means that every time I ask it anything, it takes about 8 seconds before it starts talking. So we got to figure out how to speed that up. Because unfortunately, whenever it's like talking to somebody on the moon, there's a time delay. It sucks. So, but the cool thing is, like, the goal of it is to have something that is entirely standalone and off grid. So it's not using the cloud at all. It's not using ChatGPT. It's not, you know, not running Windows. It is completely 100% open source and entirely local. So that's the cool thing with it. Oh, the resources, BTOP, I think it is, in Linux. Dual 5090s. Well, okay, if you want to send me dual 5090s, what I'll do is I'll put one of those 5090s in my desktop, and then I'll put the other 5090 in this thing. Because the thing is, like, I have a 3090, which would be great for this. The problem is the 3090 is in my main desktop that I use for video games and editing and all the other stuff I do. So I kind of want to keep it in there. I don't want to lose a 3090 to a project, essentially. I only got the one. And unfortunately, because of all this AI stuff, the price of 3090s have actually gone up. The price of a used 3090 is actually more now than it was about a year ago, apparently. At least in my area, they are. Because what's happening is people are wanting to play with the local LLM stuff and run their own local models. And to run the bigger models, you need more VRAM. The easiest way to do that is to buy a 3090 or an older card with a bunch of VRAM. But the problem is you can't go back too far, because the more RAM you have, the bigger the model you can load. And the bigger the model, the more parameters is, which means the more it knows, essentially. But the faster the processor, the faster it thinks. So if you have a crap load of VRAM but a slow processor, you can load a really intelligent model, but it thinks at like a token a second or less, or a little bit more. A token is basically a word, essentially, or sometimes if the word's big, half a word. So if it's like thinking at like 1 token a second, it talks like this when it replies. Versus like 30 tokens a second, where it needs to talk fast enough that it can generate the response and then turn the response into speech and then spit it out in a timely manner, which right now for me is about 8 seconds. Oh yeah, the prices of the new GPU cards are ridiculous, because the thing is now NVIDIA is an AI company that has a video game division. Yeah, the 3090s, like the fact that the 3090, not G10, what, wait. Don't do that, because then I'm going to, don't do that. Because if you send the 5800, I might put that in my desktop and then put the 3950 in that. Because the 3950 has, what's a 5800X? I don't even know. I got to look it up. I got to do benchmarking. Whatever one, if you send me the 5800, that's probably going to go in my desktop, and then the 3950 will go in this thing. More threads is better. You're right. More threads, more betterer. Bigger number, better. I had a dream where I won. I mean, I'll be honest, the AMD GPUs aren't too bad as long as you don't really need to worry about whatchamacallit. RTX, essentially. I'm trying to find benchmarks on the 5800X just to see while it's doing this. 5800 benchmark. The problem is there's so many crappy benchmarking sites. where it's like, here's just stats of it compared. And it's like, because I've got, okay, so let's see, where's the 5800X? So it's about there. Oh, that's a big jump over a 3000 series Ryzen. That's actually a pretty big jump. That's actually a pretty big jump. Damn. Okay. Well, G10, appreciate it. Yeah, because like, what is it? Nope, go away. Because I got a 3950, which runs about as fast as like, all the 3000 chips run about the same when it comes to games. It's just the advantage is all the extra cores. So the 5800 is 166 to 1. Oh, damn, that's a big upgrade. Well, it's Zen 3, right? It's Zen 3, right? Because the 5000 series is Zen 3, and I'm on Zen 2. So the big IPC. So that's... Why do you just have a 5800 kicking around? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. Then again, it's like, wait, the 5800s are 3 generations old already. Damn. Then again, I'll be honest, like I used an i5 2500K all the way up till I got a Ryzen 3000 series GPU or CPU. Like I went like 11 years on that thing. They have replaced the 3700 with the 3700 X3D and got the... Okay, makes sense. The 2500 was goated because you could overclock that thing like crazy and it would just go. Like it would just go. Like I think mine, I had like over a 1 gigahertz overclock on that thing for almost its entire life. And guess what? It still works. I still have a computer with it built. It's got a 1060 in it, 16 gigs of RAM, and an i5 2500K. That is like, that machine won't die until like a cap explodes or something. i7 87. My wife's computer is a, now I'll be honest, she doesn't use it as much. She doesn't use computers anywhere near as much as me. She's a phone person, but she still has a computer that she uses for like playing Baldur's Gate and whatnot. And that has a 10700 in it and a 3070 Ti. And 1080p, that's fine for the game she plays. Give it all a cheers, not G10. The 40 series. I watched a bunch of reviews and like the 4080 Super is like so much of a better value than a lot of the new 5000. Like the 5070 Ti almost can't beat a 4080 Super. It's like, really? The problem is trying to find the 4000 series cards still in stock. AM4 will go, dude, AM4 is like, the fact that Intel is like, no, every other generation, new slot, new everything, and AMD's like, yeah, AM4, yeah, get whatever, who cares? Just keep putting stuff out for it, whatever. Who cares? It's still good. Like the X3Ds, like what is it? Like a 5800 X3D is still like trading blows with some of the best brand new Intel card CPUs when it comes to gaming. Like it's insane. Like the value that AMD delivered with that platform. And now they're like, yeah, because AM4 stuck around so long, we're just gonna keep AM5 around even longer. Like, 7800. The problem is I can't go up to it. Like I have AM4. I have right now 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 computers in my house that are AM4. This computer, my main computer, my Unraid server, and then the AI machine are all AM4 because it just won't die. It's AM4. It'll last forever. I mean, David, I have a 3950X in my desktop. It's great. Like, the only downside with the 3950 is because it's Zen 2. We're up to Zen 5. So it's an older generation, but it's got 16 cores. So if you're using it on anything that uses multiple CPU cores and is good at it, I just make it a habit anytime I get a new thing. Like, so what it was is I built my main desktop with a 3700X, and then I built a streaming PC, which is this one, with a 3100X. And then I needed an Unraid server. So what I did was, because at that point I was still editing everything on the one computer. It's like, I want to get a server to put all my stuff on for editing and storing movies and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, so what I did was I got a 3950X I bought from somebody in the community. They gave me a good deal on a 3950X and like a motherboard or something. So I got that, upgraded my main desktop, the 3700X and the motherboard from that got moved into this PC, which is the streaming PC out here now. And then the 3100 and that motherboard got moved into a new build for the Unraid server. And now with G10 sending me a 5800X, that's gonna go on the main desktop. The 3950 for that's gonna go on the AI computer. And this will stay with 37. This doesn't need 16 cores. Still has a 3960, oh, a Threadripper. Yeah, that one generation of Threadripper was kind of... Actually, that'll be, one second here. One second. I gotta look something up here. I gotta look up something here. I gotta look up something here. Now it's PCI 4. Oh, okay, never mind. They're both 24 PCI lanes. That was something I was looking up quick. If the 5800X would have more PCI lanes than a 3950X, and the answer is no. They still have 24 PCI lanes. Mark, you want to know the sad thing with Fusion? Fusion is like single core still. Like Fusion doesn't actually need a lot of processing power for the kind of fusioning we're doing. Can you still get the 5800X 3D? I don't know if you can get the 5800X 3D still. I'm pretty sure, like, okay, let's see. Amazon has 4 in stock for 600 Canadian, so that's not valid. Not really, actually. Yeah, no, nobody has them new in stock in Canada. What about the 5700? The 5700X 3D is basically the same, just a little downclocked. 405 Canadian on Amazon for 5700X 3D. PC Part Picker Canada. Memory Express has them for $339. Oh, out of stock. Yeah, they're out of stock everywhere. Yeah, they're out of stock everywhere, at least up here in Canada. Yeah, slicers are CPU bound. How's the stream going? 1 o'clock. We're doing good. This is printing beautifully. Let's do an overhead camera for a bit. Look at it go. And then don't forget, at the end of stream, so at 2 o'clock, we are going to do a giveaway. So if you haven't entered yet for a chance to win some Polymaker filament, link in the video description. Enter for your chance. While you're down there, don't forget to like the smash button, ring the bell, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Your name pops up on the corner of the screen. It's really cool. Get that dopamine response. And if you want to help support the channel, the content I create, and the things I do, consider becoming a channel member, Patreon supporter, or if you're really cool, gifting memberships to others. That way other people get to hang out when we do cool members-only stuff. Actually, let me check my calendar here. Next week will be the member stream. Either Wednesday or Thursday next week, there'll be a member stream. So Wednesday or Thursday, there'll be a member stream. So you gotta be a channel member or Patreon supporter, or if you find the Twitch channel and throw it a Twitch Prime, you get to hang out too. That counts too. You just gotta make sure you're in the Discord. Richard L, you can do it. The problem is if you don't do it a certain way, it'll reset, and people keep trying to get me to do it, and I keep forgetting to do it. See if I can get a Vision Miner 22 IDEX V3. I don't know if I have enough pull for that. I'll be honest, the fact that the Pantheon sent me this blew my mind. Actually, I gotta start a print on that soon. Actually, you're right. The Stealthburner LEDs aren't working. I just realized that the Stealthburner LEDs are not working. We got to get those working. Machine, UV can. So we don't have this. We don't have this fan. So I can get rid of this fan. We don't have that fan. NeoPixel RGB. Dashboard. Do I have RGB? Oh. Okay, that works. Do purple. It doesn't really do a lot of colors. That's apparently purple. That's purple. Oh, it looks more purple from the front. That's not too bad. I think it's just washed out. Yeah, the camera's just blowing it out. But it does look purpley in person. Did I get a Centauri? They did reach out and they are going to send me one. So I will be getting a Centauri. I'm actually looking forward to that because I've heard really good things about that printer. I've heard really good things about that thing. So I'm actually looking forward to getting one. So I got to figure out how to get the, let's see here, Voron Stealthburner. Because I got to figure out how to get the LED set up on this properly. So let's see here. From where? Stealthburner LEDs. There you go. Okay. So, wow, this is all for the LEDs? All right, well, we'll figure that out later. No, we have the nozzle ones, and it's just they're not configured right yet. Right now, it's just showing the one LED. How do I auto bed mesh before every print in Clipper? You need to call up the command to do the bed mesh. You shouldn't have to. Or actually depends, Spectra, what printer are you doing it on? Because you can do a bed mesh and just save it and have it call up the bed mesh every time. You could also look into setting up camp, although it's not called camp anymore. Clipper adaptive variable mesh or whatever it's called now. Like camp is now part of Clipper, and I can never remember. There's a way to set it up within Clipper. So. Ooh. Okay, if it's under 3, you might want to do a bed mesh every time. You can do it. You want to set up an adaptive mesh, essentially. So that way it only bed meshes the area that it needs to for the print. I'm sure there's a video on it. I'm sure somebody's done a video on it. I know I have it set up on some of my machines, but not all of them. Because most of the time what I do is I either just assume the bed's flat, like this one, where you just do a QGL, or you could do a bed mesh, save it, and then just call it up every print. That's usually what I do, because I'll just, the bed mesh, the QGL will bring me trammed, and then it just loads the bed mesh and it goes. So, using a CR Touch. Yeah, that's, the touch probes like CR Touch, BL Touch, I really don't use, so I don't know all the wonderful commands for them, unfortunately. Bed mesh calibrate adaptive equal 1. There you go. You know what? We're going to add that to this config right here. Yeah, you just add adaptive. Here you go. Creator camp. So yeah, just add adaptive 1 after any time you call a bed mesh to calibrate. There you go. Easy peasy. But usually I find on your normal size V2s and whatnot, you really don't have to do it because the bed is pretty much going to be flat or consistent. So you can basically run a mesh, save the mesh, and then before every print, the QGL just brings everything into alignment, loads the mesh, and off you go. That's usually what I do, and I've never really had an issue. The adaptive mesh comes into play when you have a bed that is not consistent, so like an ender bed, where it likes to whatever, or you're running a big honking machine like a large rat rig, or like a Phoenix, for example. We have multiple different bed chiplets essentially, or the Giga Storm, where you don't want to mesh that whole flipping thing every time. Then yeah. What dragon model this is? This is the Bone Dragon. Just go on printables and look up Bone Dragon. Not Bad Dragon, Bone Dragon. Don't get those mixed up. You would have a very bad time. Or a good time, depending on what you're into. Now we just need to add the prime line part of camp to Clipper. I honestly don't care about prime lines. I really don't care where a prime line ends up. If it's here, whatever. Rat rig beacon. That's another thing. You could just go beacon and mesh the whole thing very quickly if you want. Like the VZ bot has beacon set up. What do we got? We got 45 minutes left. And how much time left on the print? I don't know. Let's find out. We are 29% there. 29% left. If you're a Dark Angels player in 40K, never actually gonna... Friggin' this popped off. This tweet popped off. I was cleaning up the room downstairs and I stepped on an A4988 and it hurt. Popped off. See, Twitter's like, oh, unlock engagements. Give us money so we can, you know, give you 4 cents a month for using our platform. It's like, fuck off. Bed mesh, calibrate, profile, default method, automatic. There you go. When am I starting the turtle box? Tuesday, most likely. Since this build is pretty much done now, there will be a follow-up on this. This is the last, I'm calling this the penultimate episode of the build series. There will be a part 13, but the part 13 will be like putting the panels on and doing some final calibration stuff, nothing major. I just want to get hours on this printing for a bit before we do the panels. So that'll be in like a week or two. So Tuesdays going forward, because next week we're also back on afternoon streams, so 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. We're starting with the box turtle. So. Jose, I use both. I use Twitter and Blue Sky. As shitty as Twitter is, it still has the larger user base. Granted, most of them are bots, but I use both. I refuse to pay for it though. You know, it's like, you make enough impressions that you'll be making money on Twitter. And I'm like, I ain't giving you my banking info. due to reboot and Clipper. Why are you, okay, what do you mean? I have some mad hangups due to reboot and Clipper. Like, it just takes a while when you're rebooting? Or? Oh, talking to chat. Tap and clicky, same accuracy. Tap is fast because you don't have to store the probe. Yeah. At the end of the day, in terms of like the hierarchy of bed probing, in terms of contact probes are better than non-contact, in my opinion. Okay. So beacon, eddy current probes, I'm grouping all beacon cartographer, eddy current probes under one brander. Eddy current probes are fast. They're really fast, but they have the same downsides that you run into as inductive probes, where you can only probe metal. You aren't probing your print surface, you're probing the metal under your print surface. So on this bed, this is a PI sticker. We're not probing the sticker, we're probing the metal under the sticker, okay? They're temperature sensitive. Yeah, you can calibrate them to they're not as temperature sensitive, but they still are temperature sensitive. So there are some downsides. Nozzle probes or physical probes like clicky probes have the advantage where physical probes, you're actually measuring the surface you are printing on, which means if you screw up, you can actually print on your hand or off a print. So if you've already got a print on the bed and you hit start print, it'll just home on the top of the print and print on top of a print. I've done it before. It was horrible, but I didn't break anything. I just made a bunch of spaghetti. So there's that. And then you have nozzle probes, or correction. So you have contact probes, which I like, because contact probes, you're actually measuring the actual surface you are printing on. So you are actually probing what the plastic will go on. And then you have contact probes are broken up into nozzle probes and not nozzle probes. Nozzle probes I like because you don't have to worry about X and Y offsets at all, because you are actually probing with the nozzle itself. And then you just got to worry about your Z offset, which is easy. And then also you don't have to worry about docking or undocking or stowing or some sort of mechanical motion to deploy the probe essentially. So for example, my, tap is great because it's just dead simple. It's a switch. The E3D Peasy probe, I love that thing because it's literally just the nozzle going boop. That's it. There's nothing to set up. You just plug it in and go. So personally, I'm a fan of contact probes, and my favorite type of contact probes are nozzle probes. But with beacon, you can do both. You can do the contact probe for your nozzle offset, and then you can do the eddy current probe to mesh your whole bed. So that gives you the best of both worlds. It gives you a very fast full bed mesh, and then also it gives you a very consistent, reliable Z offset, which is why, like, if you look back at the original Voron V2, before we went all these cool nozzle probe setups, where you had an inductive probe and a Z switch. The inductive probe was used for meshing and quad gantry leveling, but because inductive probes drift, you have a physical switch for your Z offset. So, clicky's good. It's just tap does what clicky does, less complicatedly. The advantage you have though with clicky is you have a more rigid hot head, or more rigid tool head. This tool head will never be as rigid as a fully rigid tool head. This tool head is on a rail. It moves up and down in the Z. It's constrained in the X and Y, but there still has to be movement there for it to move in the X and the Z. So this tool head is nowhere near as, it's rigid enough, obviously. It's plenty rigid for what we're doing. But for those that are like, it's gotta be machined out of titanium, and blah, 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 blah. Those people, these kind of probes, they're not for them. So. Carto. It's the same type of probe as a beacon. It's an eddy current probe. Are you ready? Are you ready? At the end of the day, it's your printer. Build it the way you want and use the probe you want. And if it's happy with your setup, if you're happy with your setup, you're happy with your setup. Print something, have fun. We all have our personal preferences when it comes to the way that how we like to run things and what we like to use when it comes to tools and equipment. If it works for you, it works for you, dog. Like, if you ask my opinion on things, I'll give it to you. But it's like, if you come out and say, oh, I prefer cartographer probes over, you know, inductive probes, I'm like, okay, cool. That's you. Now I want to add a... Yeah, the printer is an accessory to the bed probe. It's like, yeah, you know, the A10 Warthog is actually, it's not a plane, it's a flying gun with a plane accessory. Thing I don't like about PC is the ribbon cable. Luckily, there's no movement in it. Yeah, there's a ribbon cable. It is what it is, but there's no movement in it, so. It is a load cell probe. Nothing official by the Voron team, but there's add-ons, like the PC probe, for example. You can get an E3D PC probe, which basically is a load cell probe. It does the same function, essentially. The only issue with nozzle probing, it's not that bad if you have it, like, for this tap, it heats the nozzle up to about 150 before doing the probing, which essentially allows the plastic to mush out. And if it gets an outlier response, it'll keep probing until it gets a consistent result. So usually it'll just mush the plastic out of the way on the first probe or first couple probes, and then you'll get a decent response after. In real world use, on my machines with tap, I've never noticed consistency issues, even with like a little bit of dribbling plastic, because you just heat it up and it mushes out of the way. Haven't heard a single good thing. I mean, like, I've got one in a machine right there and it prints fine. I don't know. It works. It's a nozzle probe. It go beep, nozzle don't crash, and print go print. What else is there to say? Yeah, and if you're worried about mush, you can also put like nozzle brush cleaners or purge buckets. There's all kinds of ways to do it. It's another CoreXY copy of the Bamboo. They're not copies of the Bamboo. If you're calling it a copy of the Bamboo, then you got to call a Bamboo a copy of a Trident. Okay? They're not copies. They're enclosed CoreXYs. That's like saying a Toyota Corolla is a copy of a Honda Civic because it's like it's got 4 doors and 4 wheels and an engine and go brr. They're copies. And they're not copies. There's only so many ways you can build a freaking 250 millimeter enclosed CoreXY with a bed that moves up and down in the Z. There's only so many ways you can do it. So they're all going to be similar. Aesthetically, though, these guys need to get some better designers because they're doing a lot of Control-C, Control-V when it comes to aesthetics. That part, we all got to admit, they got to get some better aesthetics in these things. They're all making the same bloody printer, aesthetically. Dutch, If you're watching the stream, don't ask to ask, just ask. Don't ask to ask, just ask. There is nothing more annoying, and I'm not calling anyone out or whatever, but as somebody, and I've spoken to plenty of other content creators or even just people like that get asked questions regularly. There is nothing more annoying than a DM that just goes, hey, or can I ask you a question? Don't ask to ask, just ask. If I answer, I answer. If I don't, I don't. If I don't answer, it probably just got buried, or like I saw it while I was out and about, and I'm like, oh, I got a DM, I'll check it later, and then I forget about it because I'm horrible with memory. But yeah, don't ask to ask, just ask. You don't need my permission to send me a DM. If my DMs are open, the DMs are open. Just send it. If I don't reply, I don't reply. But just send it. And if you don't get a reply, just assume I didn't see it. Or I just forgot about it. Instant messages start with hi. Yep. I hope this email finds you well. Kind regards. To whom it may concern. Oh, it's as per my previous email. It's when you send that, then you're like, as per our previous discussion, you are wrong. What is the coding? I believe textured. I think it's textured, or it might be another sticker. I honestly don't know. I've got so many different plates. I don't even know if this is the plate that came with, I think it is the plate that came with the printer. It's the plate that came with the printer. I've got like a whole stack of like, if you want printer beds, I've got a whole bunch of them here. I've got a whole bunch of them there. Yeah, I think it's textured on the other side. Usually that's how they come, one textured, one smooth. I just put the smooth side up because the smooth side is, I think, better for PLA. I don't know what Andrew's going to be printing on this mostly. I figure PLA because it's going to be a trade show machine. But I also did this because if you screw up this side of the bed, you can peel the sticker off. And usually it's a good idea to start with the side of the bed when you're setting up a printer for the first time. The side of the bed that you don't mind ruining. Just in case you do a little Z negative China. Any new DIY printers I've been looking to? Actually, speaking of new DIY printers, 1 second here. So speaking of new DIY printers, this showed up here. So that's sitting in my foyer right now. So it's a ProForge 300 tool changer kit. So we're gonna start that build next week too. I don't know if I need to print parts for it. I gotta look that up. Is that hop on? Yes. What is the benefit of not using normal lead screw? Multifold. One, in a setup like this, the two biggest reasons are compactness. This takes up a lot less room than having a motor with a lead screw and having to deal with all that. So you would lose print volume going with a lead screw setup. Speed, this is a lot faster. So when you're doing Z hops over a print with thousands of Z hops, you actually do save a noticeable amount of time. 3, you don't have to worry about lead screw wobble. When you have 4 corners that you need to move up, having 4 lead screws, there's 4 times the chance of having lead screw wobble. Belts don't have lead screw wobble. They're not lead screws. And 5, they're cheaper. This is actually a cheaper setup than lead screws usually. Usually, if you're comparing like good, high quality integrated motor lead screws of this length, going with a belted setup is usually cheaper. So it's faster, it's cheaper, less issues with quality control. It's just better, and it's more compact. Can you copy and paste in chat? Probably not something that big. I would post it in the Discord. Do the tilde thing so it shows up as code. Do lead screws do better in hot chambers? Technically, yeah, but here's the thing. If you're worried about the belts having issues in the chamber, you're going to be worrying about your XY belts as well. Most belts are good till pretty high temperatures. Like, you can get high temp belts that are good to like 100 C. So, easily. So, belt temperature isn't... You're going to be melting printed parts in a Voron before your belts start failing at temperature. Put it that way. Things will fail on a Voron before your belts if the chamber gets that hot. And the belts on this are steel core, which means, Andrew, at some point these belts will fail and you will have to replace them. When that happens, I recommend just going right to regular belts so you don't have to do it again. But until that happens, it looks really good. And I actually don't know how long it takes steel core belts to fail, because it's been a long time since somebody's actually done steel core belts. And when I seen people doing it, they were with the original V2s and they had smaller IDs for the bearing. So this might last a while. This might last a while until it doesn't. What are steel core belts? So in your belt, do I have any belt examples? I think I cut through the cutoffs in the garbage. In your belt, here's a belt. So in your belt, okay, if you look at it, go to overhead. So if you look at your belt, okay, this is your belt. It's made out of like a material, it's like a rubber or something. So this is your belt. But if you look at the end, I don't know if it'll show up in this light, there's strands in there, okay? Normally it's Kevlar. On a good belt, it's Kevlar. So your belt has to be formed so it has teeth in it, but you want it to be strong this way. You don't want it to stretch this way. So you impregnate in like strands of carbon or Kevlar so that it doesn't, you know, stretch. You don't want stretchy belts. Stretchy belts are bad because then they don't work that good. Some belts, like in your car engine, they use steel, like steel wire, steel core belts. These are steel core belts. They're very resistant to stretching because it's steel. The problem is they need a minimum radius. They have a minimum bend radius. So if it's like this, it's not too bad. But if the bend radius is like this, repeatedly, you work hard on it. It's like grab a wire, okay, grab like a single strand wire and bend it with a big hook and it'll go a while. But if you bend it over a small itty bitty radius repeatedly, it'll work harden and break. So that's the issue you have with steel core belts, is you run the risk of them work hardening over these small bearing radiuses and eventually breaking. So that is something you got to look out for. And they failed. How long did it take for them to fail? Hey, it's Tor. Because I don't know the exact type of steel core belts these are, because Andrew sourced them. We had that made these is working on a Kevlar version for us. We may supply color versions, or we are getting a decent amount of questions about that. Andrew, honestly, if you can find somebody that'll do colored belts that are Kevlar core, start selling that shit, man. Start showing that shit. You'd be surprised the market for that. If you can get glow in the dark belts or UV reactive belts, 2 to 3 months. Is that 2 to 3 months of continuous use or like a print a week? Because like if we're talking, you can get a couple thousand hours out of them. That's not too bad. It all depends on how much this printer will be printing. A few prints a week, okay. So this should last a bit then. I'm not too concerned. It is, this camera is really wigging out with that effect. Because that was just solid. I don't know what was going on there. 200 to 300 hours, if that. Well, if they fail, they fail. So what I have to do is test this machine enough to make sure it's good before I give it to Andrew. So when the belts break, they break with him and he has to replace them. Instead of me testing it enough that they break with me and then I have to replace them. So we got to do that fine line where I test it enough to make sure it's good, but not test it too much where it breaks. Okay, hey, the print's done. Behold, it is a bone dragon in some Prusament PLA. How long do normal belts last? Years. Like regular, like as long as you built the machine well and the belts aren't like riding on the bearings and everything's aligned right and whatnot, you should get years of use out of them. They are consumable. Same with like PTFE tube and bearings. They are consumable. They will eventually wear, but under normal wear and tear conditions, if everything's built right, you should get years of use out of your belts before they start going. I have belts that are years old and they're fine. So let's see, what do we got? What's on the other side of this? Yeah, it's textured on the, oop. Okay, well, that came off really good. Okay, I need a big print. What is a big, long print that I can print on this? I need a big, long print to print on this. Hold. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Hold the Flexi Dragon. That's actually a really nice dragon. That's actually a really nice dragon. Ferris Slayer's good. This is all stuff that fell on the floor, so yeah. That actually came out really nice. Okay, somebody, okay, first I'm gonna change the filament because I don't want to use up all my orange here. I need a pla. I need a pla. Are you a pla? What are you? You're abs. I don't want to use abs. I don't want to use abs. I want to use pla. I need pla. Pla? No, your abs. I need to go downstairs. I think all my pla is downstairs. 1 second. Let me go find some pla. Going downstairs, looking for pla. Where is the pla? Let's go with you. Simply Green. Simply Green. So somebody find me a model that should take like a 12 to 18 hour model print. And we will get that going. I'll let that run for a bit. Giga Benchy. The Benchy 5000. Dude, okay. So where are my weebs at? Where are my Animu enjoyers? Two things. Started watching Free Ren with the wifey last night. I actually started watching Free Ren like when it first came out. I watched like the first handful of episodes and then I just I'm like, oh, okay, I'll wait for it to finish and then I'll binge the rest at once. And I never did. So now me and the wifey, we started watching it. So I'm watching Free Ren, which is really good. You should watch it. Also, second thing, Is it just me, or do like food and anime just looks so damn good? Food and anime just looks delicious. I was so hungry last night watching this, and it's like, I'm hungry, I want food. There's Purge. Like, food and anime looks so damn good. Like, go watch like a Miyazaki film, like Spirited Away or something, or Howl's Moving Castle, and it's just like, you just get hungry. Free Run? Yeah, Free Run's good. We watched like the first 5 episodes, I think, last night. Also, it's one of those shows that, like, if you're in the right demographic where it's like you're not older, but like, it's like, oh, existential crisis. Okay, what are we gonna print? 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 Need something big to print. What did you guys want to be? A woven wafer. Ooh, Minas Tirith bookend. Well, I got green. I need something. I got green loaded here. What? Oh, I can't show that. Okay. Let's see. What's popular? What's popular? It's all flexi stuff. It's all flexi prints. You got just chill guy here. Mini gargoyle. You know what? Let's do this guy. That'll be a good one. Overhang test. Good print volume, but it'll be good to check all the stuff. This is the kind of test that'll put a good test of all the mechanics of the printer. I don't smoke. Although if you watch the Cocoa Press video, you know what's hilarious? Okay, so if you didn't see the Cocoa Press video, you should watch it. I made chocolate on the Cocoa Press and filled it with a bunch of delicious stuff. Go watch it. But in the video, I said 2 things. One, that, hey, I'm always careful whenever I do peanuts on the Cocoa Press, because like I made some Reese's Pieces on it. So I was using peanut butter. I'm like, I'm always careful when I do that because I'm worried about cross-contamination, just in case I ever print something in the future for somebody who's allergic to peanuts. So you got to keep that in mind if you're mixing different foods. This is a food thing. That's something you got to be aware of. So I mentioned that I'm cautious about allergies. And then I also mentioned, hey, for the adults in the room who partake of a certain herbal extract, yes, the Cocoa Press works very good for that. Very good. I had more people comment about the fact that I was worried about allergies than the fact that I was making freaking pot chocolate on the Cocoa Press. More people worried about the allergies. And like, why are you never worried about allergies? Kids, you say blah, blah, blah. And then versus like, oh, you're making drugs. More people, I'm like, really? That's what you got? Okay, whatever. Whatever. So yeah. We're gonna have to wait for this to cool down, I think. Oh yeah, because I had it set for, yeah, so the nozzle's got to cool down a bit. Okay, we got 13 minutes left for this giveaway. This came out really good. I will post some pictures of it because orange never shows up good on these cameras. Here, let's put you here. Do 2. Okay, don't drop them. Orange never shows up good on camera. No, focus on, yeah, focus. No, focus on that. There we go. Go over here in the light. Maybe that'll help. There we go. I will post pictures on the Discord. There we go. Fun to 3D print a one-piece fruit, but chocolate was special. Well, you can, like, it's quite simple. Print whatever, and then just pause it before you do the top layer and fill it. That's all it is. That's all you do, is you just pause it before you put the, and you just print it with low infill, so you have a bunch of voids in the middle. And because you're filling it with something, you don't have to worry about having infill for the top layer to lay on, because you filled it with delicious caramel. So it actually works surprisingly well. I made a bunch of hot cocoa bombs. I bought a bunch of Score. What's the candy? What's in Score? Not nougat. Whatever Score, that hard toffee, whatever it is. I bought a bunch of that. I made a bunch of stuff. It was good. Kind of not happy the video didn't do the greatest, but it is what it is. I put it out at a weird time. I was hoping to get the video out earlier in the day, but it sucked. I had to edit that video 3 times. I had to redo the chocolate video 3 times. Once I filmed a bunch, and I ate a bunch of the A-roll stuff before I got to filming the actual final A-roll part, so I had to reprint a bunch of stuff. And then I filmed it all, and the mic wasn't working. So the audio was onboard audio, and it sucked. So I didn't have the stupid thing plugged in all the way. So it just defaulted to onboard. And then the last one is a take you saw. So what did I gain during the making of that? A sense of overwhelming satisfaction and a couple pounds. Are we not happy? It does this until it starts printing. Once it starts printing, it'll update. There you go. So don't forget, we got 10 minutes until we do the giveaway. So if you haven't entered yet, enter for your chance. Do this now. Do this now. Yar. And consider building and trying doubting what kit to get. Formbot seems more back of the buck, but quality is thing. Okay, Dutch, if you don't know what kit to get, here's the thing. I can't tell you what kit to get because I don't know you. Okay, I've seen some of the things you put, but I'll put it this way. The Seabor kit is a Seabor Trident. So if you're okay with building the printer and that's the way the printer is going to be forever, just be aware if you go with like a Seabor kit, your upgrade path down the line, if like a Voron 2.5 comes out or next version of the Trident comes out or some community mods you may want to do in the future come out, you're going to have less compatibility issues, or you're gonna have more compatibility issues if you go this route, because this is all custom. This is all CNC parts, and they're not spec. This uses 9mm belts on the XY, for example. It's all-wheel drive. So that is that. However, this machine will probably last longer than a stock V2 because it's not printed parts. It's CNC. Formbot kits, I haven't actually ever built a Formbot kit, so I can't speak of their quality. If you're going to build a stock V2, I'm a big fan of the LDO kits, obviously, but they make a very good stock Voron kit. So if you want to build a Voron that is a Voron, and you want to ensure that you have compatibility for future mods and upgrades and design elements down the line, it's a good idea to go with a stock one. If you are okay with like, hey, this will probably be the way the printer is for the entire life of the printer, the Seabor option is a good option. You really can't go wrong nowadays. The kits nowadays are a lot better than what they used to be. Every now and then I get somebody who comments on one of my older videos, a live stream or the video when I talked about kits back in the day. And they're trying to call me out with like a gotcha. Cause it's like, oh, what's this? You used to hate kits and now you love kits. Ooh, shilling money or something. Ooh, LDO pays you. It's like, no, dog. When the kits first came out, you weren't there. I was there. Don't quote, wizardry to me. I was there, Gandalf. The very first generation of Voron kits were shite. We're talking kits that ship with like V-slot extrusions. You can't mount rails, 9mm rails to 20mm V-slot. It doesn't work. They came with V-slot extrusions. They came with steel core belts. They came with the wrong type of electronics. They came with like garbage electronics, garbage bearings. Like The very first generation of kits that some companies put out for Vorons were horrible. It was like you had to buy the kit and then throw away a third of the kit to get a good Voron. So yeah, now kits are the go-to way to doing it because one, back in the early pre-COVID days of free shipping from AliExpress for a lot of stuff, and not like current free shipping where it's free shipping, but the cost of shipping is part of it because it's like $80 when you buy it with free shipping, but it's $20 when you don't buy it with free shipping and $60 shipping. Back in the day, it was like free shipping. It was free shipping and shit was cheap. You could self-source a Voron for almost the cost of a kit. Those days don't exist anymore. With the increased cost of worldwide shipping, price changes after COVID, it's just not economical to self-source a Voron anymore. Kits are just, they're much better and you're getting better results. I don't think I saved my Z offset. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay, there we go. Now I've saved the set offset. There we go. So yeah, I just find it funny when people pull up like the old videos or my old streams and they like, oh, you changed your opinion. It's like, yeah, I'm not a politician. I'm allowed to change my opinion on things based on new information. It's called learning. It's a thing humans can do when they're not a robot. So yeah, go-to thing, as always, if you don't know what Voron to build a Trident. If you don't know what kit to buy an LDO kit. Simple as that. That's like my... If you don't know what you're looking for and you can't justify one or the other, those are my... Do this. Don't cite the deep magic to me. I was there when it was written. Dude, why don't you guys let heated chamber discussion? I don't know, maybe because like people used to build their Voron kit, like people would like post pictures of their Vorons that they were building, and I would see like single strand wire that you would pull out of your wall, wiring up things. Like 16 gauge residential single strand wire under the hood, wiring up components in their Voron. It's like, that's why. Because, you know, what is it? What's his name? Not Tom Hanks. What's the guy's name? Tommy Lee Jones in Men in Black said it very good. A person is smart. People are dumb and panicky. So a person is smart. People are dumb. And you know it. So when you're trying to corral 50,000 people in a Discord where like somebody will post a question at 1 a.m. and you'll have some random person who will just reply and they've never been on the Discord, but they've been on the Discord for 2 minutes. And the person will just take whatever they said as the word. Like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, you're fine to do that. And then they do it and burn their house down. Now you know why we have a bunch of rules on the Voron Discord saying what you can and cannot talk about. And here's the thing. If you don't like it, cool, go to another Discord and talk about it there. It's not like we ban Voron. You can get a cereal for your Voron with a chamber heater in it. We don't care about that. We just don't want people... If you know what you're doing, you should know what you're doing. You shouldn't need a Discord. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's the kind of thing we don't want people doing because it's very easy to burn. Nobody has died building a Voron yet, and we would like to keep it that way. We were gonna, for a while, it was nobody has burned themselves building a Voron, but people have done that. Nobody's burned their house down yet building a Voron. It used to be nobody has caused a fire building a Voron. And we've moved to nobody has burned their house down yet. And I want to keep it that way. Yep, go to the Doom Cube Discord if you want all that fun stuff. It's for anyone who's ever been in the military, you know the phrase like lowest common denominator, where it's like, this is how smart the average person is. And you have to understand, like, you know, as George Carlin said, half the people are dumber than that. I'm not trying to say that in an insulting way. It's just kind of like when you have thousands of people just randomly discussing, and there's not always, you know, somebody making sure what people regurgitate as their comment is correct. It's very, very easy, and we've seen it happen, where somebody pops into a channel, asks a question, somebody replies with a unsafe wrong answer, but because they were like the only person to reply at that time, the person who asked the question went, okay, and then bad things happened. You would be surprised how often that happens. How do you manage that? Okay, these topics are, no. That's basically like kind of what you have to do. Does anyone else cube their Trident build area like LDO? Because 350 by 350 by 250. You're thinking about the Trident. The reason the Trident's 250 is because of availability of the Z lead screws. Because I think I don't know if these are, if they're like the Prusa length or what. I can't remember. There was basically, we decided on a spec for the lead screw, and that was the most common size. So that's why it's 250. I know LDO makes cubed ones, but they make custom stuff. So they kind of do that. I know I have a Trident that's 350 by 350 by 250, and it's still big. Trident does not scale. Also, if you want to go bigger in the Z, build a V2. V2 scales better in the Z than the Trident because you don't have the whole bed moving up and down. If you're going big, go with the Trident. I think it's doing that because it's losing connection, because the Nomi didn't see my router in the garage. It only saw my router in the house. So maybe the Nomi is pooping. He's pooping plastic. Look at him go. He's like, ah, I'm pooping plastic. Okay, you got 1 minute to enter for your chance to win some Polymaker filament. Link in the video description. Do this now. Do it. Do it now. The Doom Ducky commands you. Do I have a red marker? I want to give him red eyes. Do I have a red marker? I've got red paint. I'm going to give him red eyes. Doom Ducky is getting red eyes. What is this? This is bright red metallic. I gotta give him red eyes. Also, while I'm doing this, enter for your chance to win some filament. Do it now. I'm actually looking forward tonight. I'll watch some more Freerun. The only downside of watching a show with the wifey is I have to wait for her to be around to watch it. The problem is I'm a night owl. So when I watch a show, I will like binge it all at like 3 in the morning because that's just how I am. So it's like if I'm watching a show with the wife, it's like, okay, I gotta wait for her to get home from work, wait for the little guy to be in bed. Okay, now we can watch it, and she's going to bed. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna be up for another 3 hours. Guess I can't watch it anymore. The only downside. Doom Ducky. Actually, I have 2. I think these came with the Mantas? I'm trying to remember which ones come with the Doom Duckies. They've got like 2 or 3 of them. Okay, let's do this giveaway. Let's do this giveaway. Did you enter to win some filament? If you did not, you will have another chance tomorrow night. Tomorrow's stream is going to be pretty laid back. We're just going to be faffing about with the AI machine. So I'm going to try and film a video on it for either tomorrow or Sunday. And then tomorrow night, we're just going to faff about with it, have fun, do some printing. We'll be in the basement, which also we're going to do some printing because I got to print some more stuff for the power armor. And I want to try on the Prusa XL. We got to put a hardened nozzle in it because I want to print the chest piece for the power armor in carbon fiber PETG because I really liked how it came out on the helmet. But the helmet I printed on the Pantheon. So this helmet I printed in CF PETG on the Pantheon. I'm going to do some carbon fiber PETG on the Prusa XL, but I also want to try PLA supports. So we're going to do that tomorrow night as well. So we'll change some nozzles around, we'll do that, and then we'll also play with the AI computer. So, and thank you to Prusa for sending me a whole bunch of carbon fiber PETG. So let's do this giveaway. Okay, close that, open the names. It'll be really interesting to see how carbon fiber PETG with PLA supports works out. That I'm going to be interested in. File save. Okay. Who was the first one? Okay. Oh, we gotta wait. Accept. Oh, great. There's an update for marbles. Squeaky toys are tripping your dog. Was it the Kraken board? Oh, it was Kraken board. Got the. Actually, just think, in 1 month I'll be in China. That'll be cool. Looking forward to that. That's coming up real quick. So, US, don't go invade my country before then, because I do have to go to the States to travel. I only got 333. Okay. Let's go with let's go with robotic roadway. Box play. Okay. So how this works, if you win, you get a spool of filament from Polymaker. But if I pick your ball and you win, you also get a free hat. So this person right here, Zoob 2004. If you win, you get a free hat along with your spool of filament. If anyone else wins, you just get a spool of filament. Which one? Go all the way down there? Okay. So remember, exclamation mark zoom zoom makes you go faster. Exclamation mark gullible makes everyone else go slower. And if you like the smash button, ring the bell, and are subscribed to the channel, it actually greases your ball up and makes it go even faster. I know, it's exciting. It's totally true. I'm not lying. For real, no capping. I almost grabbed the bottle of isopropyl alcohol for a drink. I know everyone's falling off. Oh, jeez. Who's going to get smacked by the mallet? Jobo! Oh, God, he got yeeted. Rappy! Where's the end? Where does this go? Is it invisible? Oh, it's just invisible. Okay. Dougal! Wayne! Okay, who's in the lead? Kenneth! Kenneth! It's your game to lose now, Kenneth. It's your game to lose. It's your game to lose, Kenneth. Well, you kind of lost. Oh, someone almost sniped it. Sean! Sean Bachman with the win. Sean Bachman with the win. Bachman? Bachman. Sean Bachman. Congratulations, Sean. You have won yourself a spool of filament from Polymaker. Let me pull you up here. Should you answer that? Oh, that's a disappointing ending, or disappointing answer to that question. Oh well, you still won your filament though, so congratulations. Congratulations. So you'll get an email from me after the stream ends with information on how to collect your filament from Polymaker. Let's look at the overhead camera. Look at that thing go. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to put something on here just to keep this more vertical. I'll just get a piece of like nylon or something and we'll figure something out. Or the PTFE tube. I might just connect the PTFE tube, make it work. Because I do have to print all the enclosure stuff for this still. So yeah, so that is it for the main build portion of the 3D Gloop themed V2. Again, huge shout out to 3D Gloop for sponsoring this build series and also providing the kit for this build series. If you do want to get some 3D Gloop, it's some awesome adhesives for gluing your 3D printed parts together. Andy, don't spam chat. Awesome Gloop material for gluing your 3D prints together. Go check them out. Link in the description while you're down there. Use code Canuck and save 15% off your order. And okay. So, Andy, I gave you a 1 minute timeout. Just pause. I'm assuming you're delayed. You're watching the stream delayed. So just relax. Just pause with the spamming chat. You come back in a minute. Okay. Oh, it auto deleted them. When I pause it, it auto deletes it. Or I just muted him for a minute. Anyways, you're not in trouble, Andy. I just didn't want you spamming chat. Because the spamming chat portion of the stream's over. Look at it go. So anyways, what is it saying? So yeah, 3D GLOOP. Somehow I got to figure out how to get this down to 3D GLOOP. We'll figure it out in the future. We'll get it enclosed. We'll do that on a future stream. I just wanted to get it to this point so we can start putting some hours on it, make sure everything's good, and then we'll enclose it, do the final calibrations, and then it'll be ready to ship or travel. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And then also, shout out to Polymaker for the spool of filament. We gave away this stream and every stream. Links for all of them and more in the video description. Actually, what's today? Oh, I gotta spam something. 1 second. Wait, I gotta give you the best news in the world because I think today is the 21st. Is today the 21st? It is the 21st. Let me pull up my partner email. 1 second here. 1 second. 1 second here. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. How many emails do I have with different creators? There we go. Okay. What time are we? 2 p.m. Yeah, 2 p.m. I can talk about this. There you go. So right now, hey, are you thirsty? Are you thirsty? Gamer subs, 21% off with code Canuck. Oh wait, shit. No, this starts at 3 p.m. Sorry. This starts at 3 p.m. So an hour from now, you can buy some gamer subs. I thought it started at 2 p.m. because I've seen the 2 p.m. for 21% off. There you go. Go get some Chug Juice or Blowhole Blast or Brand Risk. There you go. There you go. Go do that. Go buy some gamer subs in an hour. Not right now. In an hour, go buy it. Okay. So we're gonna call it there. Oh, and for those that donated to the channel, gifted memberships to others, and became members of the channel yourself, I thank you. And not be able to do things I do without the you know, the usual thing. Thank you. You're awesome. Anyways, we're calling it there. It's Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe out there. Wash your hands. And I will see you tomorrow night. Goodbye.